Scene 13. This is a really amazing, pivotal act in the play here. So we have back at Cleopatra's palace. Antony learns of Caesar's answer and, against all odds, demands a hand to hand combat with Caesar. He's like, I'll fight him hand to hand. Having finally lost his faith in Antony's power of reason, Enobarbus decides to leave Antony's service. And we have a great little soliloquy by Enobarbus here, his faithful servant, right? Caesar sends his officer Theudius to win Cleopatra. But when Theudius is caught kissing Cleopatra's hand, Antony has him whipped. Humiliated, Theudius scurries back to Caesar. Antony accuses Cleopatra of being a faithless strumpet, but she swears her loyalty and he once more forgives her. Antony declares a last night of revelry before the final battle, where he has promised to fight Caesar to the death. So this is some great moments here. We got a lot going on. All right, here we go. And at the end, Enobarbus decides to find a way to leave Antony. Cleopatra, they're distraught. What shall we do, Enobarbus? Think and die. What a great line there. Is Antony or we in fault for this? Whose fault is all this? Antony only. So Enobarbus, Antony's faithful servant, is kind of turning his back on him here. That would make his will, his desire, his lust, lord of his reason. Antony's desire, his lust is now lord of his reason. What thou you fled from that great face of war, whose several ranges frighted each other? Why should he follow? He shouldn't have followed you. The itch of his affection, his passion, should not then have nicked his captainship. He should have stayed and fought at such a point when half to half the world opposed, he being the married question, sole ground of dispute. 'Twas a shame no less than was his loss to course to pursue your flying flags and leave his navy gazing. He should have never left. Antony should have never left, and he went after Cleopatra. Prithee, peace. Here comes Antony. Is that his answer? Caesar. Is that his answer? Aye, my lord. The queen that shall then have courtesy, so she will yield us up. He says so. Let her know it. To the boy Caesar. Yeah, now he's the boy Caesar, the boy Octavius. Send this grizzled head, and he will fill thy wishes to the brim with principalities. Let her know it, right? Send this, my head on a platter, right? If you kill me, he'll fill her wishes to the brim. That head, my lord, to him again. Tell him he wears the rose of youth upon him. This is great. Here's Antony's challenging Octavius, from which the world should note something particular. This is a fact concerning Caesar here. His coin, ships, legion may be a coward's, whose ministers would prevail under the service of a child as soon as the command of Caesar. I dare him, therefore, to lay his gay comparisons apart. His comparisons apart, and answer me declined in years and fortunes. Sword against sword, ourselves alone. I'll write it, follow me. Antony, I'll fight him sword to sword, mano a mano, me against he's talking, which Octavius will never do that, right? He's got all the power. And Antony is he's raging here. Enobarbus aside. And here is, yes, like enough, high-battled Caesar will unstate his happiness and be staged to the show against a sworder, against, Octavius, Antony is the fighter, right? He's the battle. He stripped his good fortune to make a public exhibition of himself against Antony's a gladiator here, right? I see men's judgments are a part of the inward of their fortunes, back to the fortunes, right? Octavius has everything going for him now. He would, this is just silly. And things outward do draw the inward quality after them, to suffer all alike, that he should dream knowing all measures. The fool Caesar will answer his emptiness. Caesar, thou hast subdued his judgment too. So Caesar, thou hast subdued his judgment too. We get a moment, right? And this is a little one little soliloquy with Enobarbus here. When we have a decide, whenever a character turns aside, he's speaking He, him, they, he, her, they, speaking to themselves. Caesar has subdued his judgment too. So Antony's judgment ultimately is now being called into effect. A messenger from Caesar. What, no more ceremony? See my women against the blown rose. May they stop their nose, then kneel unto the buds. Admit him, sir. What? You're just waltzing in here. Barbus again. Mine honesty and I begin to quarrel. I'm starting to question, should I keep following Antony? This is tricky, right? And we get this, Barbus, once he deserts Antony, he feels horrible. He feels horrible. And it's a part I want to spend a few moments on, looking back at Antony, because it really humanizes Antony and what Antony does. But you can't really blame Barbus here either, right? I mean, Antony's going bonkers. Mine honesty, my loyalty to Antony and I begin to square. The loyalty well held to fools does make our faith, faithless is mere folly. Yet he that can endure to follow with allegiance a fallen lord, Antony's a fallen lord, does conquer him that did his master conquer and earns a place in the story. Caesar's will? Hear it apart. None but friends say boldly, tell me, so happily are they friends to Antony. He needs as many, sir, as Caesar has, or needs not us. If Caesar please, our master will leap to be his friend. For us, whose he is, we are. And here's Barbus, right? That is Caesar's. So, thus then, thou most renowned, Caesar entreats not to consider what case thou standest further than he is Caesar. Caesar is famous for his generosity. Kill or banish Antony and you will be rewarded. Go on, right royal. He knows that you embraced not Antony as you did love, but as you feared him, right? You didn't love Antony, you just feared him. Oh, we know that's not true, right? The scars upon your honor, therefore, he does not pity. He does pity, as constrained blemishes, not as deserved. He is a god and knows what is most right. Mine honor was not yielded, but conquered merely, utterly. Barbus again here. To be sure of that, I will ask Antony, Sir, thou art so leaky that we must leave thee to thy sinking, for thy dearest quit thee. Shall I say to Caesar what you require of him? For he partly begs to be desired to give. It much would please him that of his fortunes you should make a staff to lean upon. But it would warm his spirits to hear from you had left Antony. Octavius wants Cleopatra, right? And put yourself under his shroud, his protection, but teaming up with him. The universal landlord. What's your name? My name is Thedius. Most kind messenger, say to great Caesar this in deputation, by proxy. I kiss his conquering hand. Tell him I am prompt to lay my crown at his feet and there to kneel. Tell him from all his obeying, which all obey, breath, I hear the doom of Egypt. 'Tis your noblest course. Wisdom and fortune combating together is that the former dare but what it can. No chance may shake it. Give me grace to lay my duty on your hand. Cleopatra. Your Caesar's farther off, when he hath mused of taking kingdoms and bestowed his lips on that unworthy place, as it rain kisses. Here comes Antony and Barbus. Favors, and Antony is pissed. These are some great moments here. Anthony's pissed. Favors by Job that thunders. What art thou, fellow? One that but performs the bidding of the foolish man. That's that he means, and worthiest to have command obeyed. That's the foolish man is Caesar. He has all the power. You will be whipped. Calling for servants. Approach there. You kite, you ignoble bird of prey. Now gods and devils, authority melts from me of late. When I cried ho like boys unto a musk king's scramble, would start forth and cry, your will. Have you no ears? I am Antony yet. I'm still Antony. I'm still badass, right? Enter the servants. Take hence this jack and whip him. 'Tis better playing with a lion's whelp. And we have Barbus aside here too. 'Tis better playing with a lion's whelp than an old one dying. Is that he's calling Antony an old lion dying here, right? Aside to himself, he's whispering this. We see these hints and intimations from Barbus here. Moon and stars whip him, were 20 of the greatest tributaries that do acknowledge Caesar. Should I find them so saucy with the hand of she here? What's her name since she was Cleopatra? Antony's pissed at Cleopatra here too now. Whip him, fellows, till like a boy you see him cringe his face and whine aloud for mercy. Take him hence. Mark Antony, tug him away. Antony's like, get him away, bring him back, bring him again. The jack of Caesar shall bear us an errand to him. You were half blasted ere I know you. Ha, have I a pillow my left unpressed in Rome, forbidden the getting of a lawful race, and by a gem of woman to be abused by one that looks on feeders? He's given it to Cleopatra. You were half blasted, right? You were worn. He's calling her old and worn out here, right? But it just illustrates how angry he is. Good, my lord. Antony, you have been a boggler ever, a waverer ever. You know, you're always, but when we in our viciousness grow hard, O miscreant, the wise gods seal, blind, our eyes and our own filth, drop our clear judgments, make us adore our errors, laugh at us while we strut to our confusion. You know, he's just mad and cursing and pissed off here. Has it come to this, Cleopatra? Oh, has it come to this? I found you as a morsel cold upon dead Caesar's trencher. Yeah, Julius Caesar's wooden dish, right? Nay, you were a fragment. It's brutal's Antony here. Leftover, you know, of Gnaeus Pompey's, besides what hotter hours unregistered in vulgar fame, you know, common knowledge. You have luxuriously picked out, for I am sure though you can guess what temperance should be, you know not what it is. Wherefore is this? Why are you talking to me this way? To let a fellow that it will take rewards and say, God quit you, you know, reward, you know, to Octavius, he's like pissed at, you know, be familiar with my playfellow, your hand, this kingly seal and plighter of high hearts, that I were upon the hill of Bastion to outroar the horned herd. For I have savage cause, and to proclaim if civility were like a haltered neck, which does the hangman thank for being yar about him. You know, enter, is he whipped? Is Theudas whipped? Soundly, my lord, cried he, and begged for pardon. He did, he asked for favor. To Theudas, if that thy father live, let him repent thou was not made his daughter. You should have been born your father's daughter. Antony's just giving it to him here. And be thou sorry to follow Caesar in his triumph, since thou hast been whipped for following him. Henceforth the white hand of a lady fever thee. Shake thou a look on it. Get thee back to Caesar. Go back to Caesar. Tell him all this. Antony is just defiant, raging here. Tell him thy entertainment. Tell him what happened. Tell him you were whipped like a dog, right? Look, thou say he makes me angry with him, for he seems proud and disdainful, harping on what I am, not what he knew I was. You know, and this is Antony. He forgets who I am, right? Who am I? He makes me angry. And at this time most easy to do it. Yeah, I get when my good stars that were my former guides have emptied, left their orbs. You know, when I'm down on my luck, right? And shot their fires into the abysm of hell. If he mislike my speech and what is done, if Octavius doesn't like it, tell him he has Hipparchus, my enfranched bondman, whom he may pleasure whip or hang or torture as he like to quit me. Urge it thou. Hence with thy stripes, be gone. Cleopatra's great. Are you done? Are you done with this? Are you done going bonkers? Have you done yet? Alack, our Terran moon. Alack, our Terran moon is now eclipsed, and this is, you know, Antony. Alack, our Terran moon is now eclipsed, and it portends alone the fall of Antony. Like, I'm falling. I must stay this time. You know, wait till, she's like, I gotta wait till this cools down. I gotta wait till Antony's rage ends. I must stay. I can't, you know. To flatter Caesar, would you mingle eyes with one that ties his points? You know. Not know me yet? Do you not know me yet? Cold-hearted toward me? Antony's hurt here. He's like, you're cold-hearted. Ah, dear, if I be so, from my cold heart let heaven engender hail and poison it in the source. If I'm being cold, if I don't feel love for you, I'd be poisoned. This shows how Cleopatra truly feels, right? and the first stone drop in my neck as it determines, as it comes to an end, so dissolve my life. The next Caesarean smite till by degrees the memory. That's her heirs of my womb, together with my brave Egyptians all by the discandying, the melting, there's that dissolving, melting of this pelleted storm, lie graveless till the flies and gnats of Nile have buried them for prey. You know, this is how much I love you and I feel for you. I'm okay. Okay, that was, I am satisfied. Okay. Okay, I believe you, Cleopatra. I was just mad. Caesar sits down in Alexandria where I will oppose his fate. I'll challenge his destiny. There it is, oppose his fate. But we know Caesar's not going to agree to this. Our force by land hath nobly held our severed navy to have knit again, and fleet threatening most sea-like. Where has thou been? I like this moment too. Where has thou been, my heart? Where have you been? Where's my courage been? I'm going after it, right? Does thou hear, lady, if from the field I shall return once more to kiss these lips? Here's Antony. This scene too, it shows Antony, angry, raging, falling, the fall of Antony, and now here he's like he's challenging himself. Okay, I'm gonna fight to the death. To kiss these lips I will appear in blood, and I my sword will earn our chronicle. There's hope in it yet. I still got hope. There's life in me. I'm still Antony. Cleopatra, that's my brave lord. I will be treble sinewed. I'll have the strength of three men, hearted, breathed, and fight maliciously. I'll fight, for when mine hours were nice, delicate, wanton, and lucky men did ransom lives of me for jest, and now I'll set my teeth and send to darkness all that stop me. I like that. I'll set my teeth and I'll send to darkness all that stop me. Come, let's have one other gaudy night. Let's tear it up tonight. Let's have a joyful party. Let's party it up tonight. Let's, one last hurrah. Call to me all my sad captains. Fill our bowls once more. We're going to drink it down tonight. Let's mock the midnight bell. We're going to stay up all night. It is my birthday, Cleopatra. I had thought have held it poor, but since my lord is Antony again, I will be Cleopatra. Antony's back to his old self. I'll be Cleopatra. We will yet do well. Call all his noble captains to my lord. Do so. We'll speak to them, and tonight, I love this moment. I'll force the wine to peep through their scars. The wine peep, we're going to drink so much, the wine's going to come out of their scars. Come on, my queen. There's sap in it yet. The next time I do fight, I'll make death love me, for I will contend even with his pestilent sieve. I'm going to fight death, and I'll fight his sickle, and I'm going to win. This is showing Antony here. I love these moments with Antony. And here's Enobarbus's, though, soliloquy. Now he'll outstare the lightning. This is important, right? To be furious is to be frighted out of fear, and in that mood, the dove will peck the ostrich. Octavius Caesar's going to destroy Antony. It's not even going to be. Remember, they're not fighting one-on-one. Caesar's army, everyone's on Caesar's side now, and I still see a diminution in our captain's brain restores his heart. When valor preys on reason, it eats the sword it fights with. I will seek some way to leave him. So his faithful friend, servant Enobarbus is making plans to leave Antony. And we're going to spend, when we see that moment, I want to spend a few moments on Enobarbus about this little moment here. Following Cleopatra and Antony's post-Theseus reconciliation, the lieutenant states he sees that a lessening in Antony's mind has restored his heart, and that Enobarbus must, he seeks some way to leave Antony. He decides to leave Antony here. So here's another really big turning point in the play. Wonderful scene. Antony in all his full display here. Great lines. Angry, we're going to wine peep through the scars. I'll make death love me. Antony, the dying, as Enobarbus called him, an old lion dying.